Hey guys, today is the 1 year anniversary of me being in hospital, and I thought that I would do a little how it happened kind of story time with you guys. So, I've been having mental health issues my whole life. I was very anxious in elementary school. In high school, I'd call home multiple times a day just to make sure my family was okay. And it took me all the way up to college. College is when it really hit me. I was 19 and it hit me hard. I was going in to be a nursing assistant or healthcare assistant, whatever you guys call them, and I was crying because I couldn't make a bed, and I was crying because I couldn't swaddle a baby properly, and so I was in tears almost every day in college. And my teacher came up to me and she's like, "You need to go to the doctor." So off I went to the doctor, and he put me on some antidepressants. Now, the antidepressants made me very anxious, very hyperactive. It didn't work for me. We later found out that that was because I have bipolar, and antidepressants can make people who have bipolar go manic. So, we didn't find the diagnosis out until a few years later when my psychiatrist up north said, he put me on an antidepressant in the hospital, and I just went off the walls. So they decided then to diagnose me with bipolar. I also have a diagnosis of BPD, or borderline personality disorder. That's my main diagnosis, and bipolar type 2 is my subdiagnosis. And so I was living in a group home, or independent living above a group home, where they would give me my medications, they would feed me and all that kind of stuff. And so I was really struggling, and I tried to reach out to the nursing staff there and basically got ignored. And so I decided to go and take a Tylenol overdose, which I had done before, but decided to take a Tylenol overdose, and I was put in the hospital. That time they just kind of stabilized me and sent me back to the group home. And then a few months later, I was trying to talk to one of the healthcare workers about my anxiety and depression and suicidal thoughts. And he was like, "Oh, I'm busy. I'm on a break." And he didn't tell me come back in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. He just told me that he didn't want to talk to me because he was on his break. So I got very frustrated with that because no one was listening. So I handed in a script for an antibiotic when I first got back from the hospital. And the manager of the group home looked at me and said, "Why are you taking antibiotics if you want to kill yourself anyways?" That hurt. That hurt really bad. So anyways, I decided to go and take another overdose because that's just how I dealt with things. Not the greatest way, but it is what it is. And so I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, bought some Tylenol, and ended up taking about 40 Tylenol extra strength behind this Shoppers Drug Mart. And I was hoping to die. So I called the police or the ambulance or whatever, told them where I was in hopes of the fact that the Tylenol would kick in and kill me before they arrived so that no other person had to find me. My biggest fear is me taking the drugs and then dying and having some kid come and find me or another random person on the street. I don't think that's fair. So my whole plan was to take the Tylenol, hopefully die there on the street in the back alleyway, and then have the ambulance come and take me and do whatever with me. But that's not how it happened. Basically, I took the Tylenol, and the ambulance showed up and forced me into the ambulance, and started an IV, which I didn't want in the first place. So I got kind of angry. I didn't lash out. I don't lash out at other people. I will never hurt anybody else intentionally. That is. Um, so they took me to the ambulance. Took me to the hospital. My Tylenol levels were extremely high, and so they needed to give me acetylcysteine. I think that's what it's called, to combat the Tylenol overdose. Um, they then wanted me to drink some charcoal, and I said no, I don't want to drink that shit. So they took a tube and put it down my nose and inserted the charcoal that way. That was a mess. And then this really attractive doctor came in, and he's like, "Okay, so I'm your doctor for this evening." And I repeat, he was very attractive. And all of a sudden, I just went blah, and I vomited like everywhere. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and I'm like, "Oh shit." And he's like, he calls the nurse. He's like, "Hey, nurse, can we get someone to clean her up?" And so yeah, that was like the funniest part of the whole thing. It was pretty traumatic for the poor doctor. Um, but anyways, and then they ended up admitting me into the psych unit, because obviously what they're doing wasn't working before. They like stabilizing me and sending me back to the group home just was not working. So they decided to keep me in, and they wanted to send me to a group home, another like a different group home, where I can get more stabilized. They can play my medication a little bit more. So I arrived into the other tertiary treatment unit on October 27th, and that's when things started to kind of get a little bit worse and a little bit better at the same time. Things were getting better in regards to the fact that my medications were being played with. We were finding different techniques to help me cope with my suicidal thoughts and self-harm intentions and stuff like that. But the bad thing is my impulses got really high. I ended up escaping from this facility, and taking Tylenol. And so I ended up going back to the hospital in the city that I am in. And yeah, I went to the hospital and I came back, and basically now I'm like on watch. So I was there I got admitted to the group home in October 27th, and then I stayed there all the way until June 27th, when I got transferred out to a cottage here in my city, and where it's like a rehabilitation facility, and they help you get back on your feet. They help you decide where to go after this. It's a very interesting facility, but the social worker there really upset me. I'm not going to go into details of what he did because it was just me being overly sensitive. And so I decided to run away and once again take Tylenol. So every time I take the Tylenol, I increase the amount because I figure if it doesn't work this time, it will definitely work this time, right? But obviously it didn't work. So anyways, I got admitted into the hospital, and the cottage that I was at decided not to take me back because I was too much of a suicide risk. And so I got sent back to here, which is the place that I was at when I first when I first came here on October 27th. This is the same facility. And so now I'm back here. I've been here for about a month now, maybe a little bit more. And yeah, it's been pretty good. My doctor is absolutely amazing. He's been really good to me, really helpful. Social worker has been amazing as well. And I'm just so eternally grateful for my healthcare team. I haven't, well, I haven't had a suicide attempt since I've been here, which is a month, so not that long, but for me, it's like yay, kind of celebration kind of thing. Um, but yeah, so it's been a little bit of a whirlwind year, but it is what it is, and I think it's doing its purpose, serving its purpose. Um, but yeah, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it. Um, this is my first video, so I'm really kind of like don't know what to say. It's weird talking to a camera, but I figured, if my story can help somebody else, or if like if somebody else needs help or whatever, they can reach out to me. I did do a video. It wasn't actually a video, it was an audio thing. Last time I was here, I did an audio thing for doctors and pharmacists and other mental health workers about the implications of medications and what it does to people and what works, what doesn't work. So I got asked all these questions about like where I was 8 months ago, how am I doing now, and I answered all the questions, but I asked to not be seen, just heard. So no one knows it's me unless you know my voice. No one knows it was me, and so yeah, that was a very fun time too, and it was nice to know that I could help other people. I've often thought about being a peer support worker, um, but I don't think I'm quite ready for that yet. Um, I don't think I'm ready to help other people if I can't help myself yet. Um, and I'd also love to go around to schools and teach about mental health at age appropriate levels. Um, so that would be I would love that if I could do that. But I need to get better first before I can think about anything like that. I don't know where I'm going to go after here. Probably another group home, but not 100% sure yet. We haven't decided. But if you guys have any questions or comments or anything, just leave them down below and I'll be more than happy to get back to you. Or if you have any video ideas for my explaining my childhood or just any other questions about mental health or even just about me in general, please feel free to leave them down below and I will get back to you and let you know and hopefully help somebody out there. Well, thank you guys for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye.